Privet. Assalamu alaikum. Ciao, konnichiwa. Namaste. Bonjour. Hola. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's Ken. Not at 10, actually at 10:41. Sorry I'm late this morning. I did mention yesterday we had a Homes Under the Hammer filming this morning, and that was quite fun as always. Nice place coming up in Wimbledon. Be a long while before you see it live because that's what we call the first look, when we just look around before the refurbs are done. They've just bought it at auction, and quite a nice one actually. Beautiful day too today here in southwest London, and certainly in Wimbledon as well. The skies are blue, the sun is out, it's warm and friendly, and it really does feel like spring is here at last. Really, really good out there. And we've noticed a difference on the phones as well. The phones, anything that's available, are going nuts, particularly on lettings, but also sales, middle-priced housing, anything around $500,000. Absolutely, the phones are off the hook for. Few bits of news for you today. Oh, I should say, I will introduce myself. I'm Ken. This is Ken at 10. We're James Alexander Estate Agents. We are in southwest London, Norbury to be precise, and that's between Streatham to the north, Croydon to the south. And we talk property every day. Why? Because we love it. And we're at the coalface because we sell and let it every day. So we have some idea what's going on out there. Can anyone have any real idea? I don't know. I always try and call it, and it's very hard to get right. But there are certain things that you can see from trends and things. And we do, being on the front line, we do tend to get the first feeling of what it's like out there. And at the moment, sentiment is bullish. Everybody's out there looking. There's not much available, and people are competing for every available property. So it's really interesting at the moment. And that's why we have a strategy of asking offers over on most of the houses that we sell. A few headlines for you. City AM says there's been a significant spike in house completions for properties outside of London and Manchester. Apart from England's two main population centres, the top 10 growth areas were in outlying towns. And this figures from Paragon. Milton Keynes led the way with a 667% increase over 2021 from the previous 12 months. Other cities such as Bristol, Manchester, Luton and Plymouth were all following. London had a 95% increase, and other population centres like Cardiff and Nottingham had considerably lower rates of growth. Paragon put the trend to more compilations outside of, it says compilations, it means completions outside of London and Manchester, down to the combination of three things, saying most must have a commutable distance to a major city, vibrant universities and healthy local economies. Foreign ownership is up by 4% in London. That's interesting, and I wonder whether that will continue given the situation with the Russians. I imagine there's a lot of Russian money that's frozen. Does that mean they've still got ownership? I suppose it's still counted. Internationally registered homes in London increased by £6 billion last year, with data from estate agent Benham and Reeves showing that the number of houses registered to overseas buyers climbed 4% to 84,451. The report shows £59.3 billion worth of property is registered to overseas, with this up £6 billion on 2020. The biggest increase in foreign ownership was in Hackney, of all places, with a 15% increase, while Westminster led the way, and that's obviously with the mega homes and sums and that's 12.5 billion. With Russia's invasion of Ukraine resulting in sanctions against oligarchs linked to the Kremlin, Benham and Reeves, director, said there will be one segment of the international buyers market that's sure to be absent for the immediate future. Well, that's not very prescient, is it? We all kind of know that. UK rents are up 4% year on year, according to Spare Room. That's across all UK regions. I'd say they're up considerably more than that in London. It found that 42% of London landlords currently do not have confidence in the rental market. Of these, 20% plan to leave the rental market and 11% plan to reduce their portfolio. I don't think that's about the rental market. I think prices are strong and getting stronger. I think that's more about the tax. People have been penalising landlords quite heavily. The government have been penalising landlords quite heavily. And Sadiq Khan, the landlord's friend, yeah, right, he's now renewing calls for rent controls on private dwellings in London. He says the London mayor has said that the freezing of rents for 2 years could help thousands of Londoners save up to £3,000 of rent, with London rents at record high. Mr. Kern is urging ministers to step in and regulate the private renting sector. City Hall analysis based on the forecast from Savills reveals the pandemic has led to a quarter of 2.4 million renters missing rent payments, with 500,000 Londoners now potentially facing eviction. However, landlords warned the plan left them with unprotected from the crisis and would therefore force many to sell up, which would further shrink the supply homes and bring significantly higher rent increases down the line. Well, that's the thing. You penalise landlords and make it too difficult for them, then they end up walking away and cashing in. And when they cash in, then obviously that leads to a further shortfall, further exacerbating the problem, because government, you're not building enough. And that means you need to support the private rented sector more, not less, in order to increase supply so that tenants have choice, and so that where there's a selection out there, then prices can regularize. They'll never regularize while there's an undersupply. There will always be pressure, and it's always going to be upwards pressure. You know, most landlords don't increase the rent all the time. They only increase the rent when tenancies come up for renewal, if at all. Sometimes they don't bother for many years. Whereas if you put rent controls in place, for sure, everyone will increase their rents up to whatever that rent control price is. And it could actually have the very opposite effect that government expects, because many landlords are individuals, and many landlords tend to leave their tenants alone for the full length of the tenancy after it spills on to what we call an assured or statutory periodic. And therefore, you might find a situation where Sadiq Khan insists on rent controls. Those rent controls, if they did come in, I don't think they will, but if they did, then everybody would increase their rents up to the rent control level to make sure they don't fall behind the curve, potentially increasing rents for many, many Londoners that are currently sitting at a below current market rent. Interesting thoughts, but there we are. How are you? I hope you're doing well today. As far as today's concerned, lots of valuations booked again. Great news. And things are getting really busy, really hot in terms of the property market. Will it continue? Well, we've got interest rate rises on the horizon. What with Ukraine going on as well, who knows? It's very hard to call this market. But post-pandemic, London is open for business. And that's what's driving the interest in our areas right now, is that people are feeling like they've been locked up for a long time. It's time to make decisions. If not now, when? And I would always agree with that statement, of course. So hope you have a great day today. Thanks for watching. Sorry we're a bit late today. Back to normal tomorrow. And until then, look after yourselves. And if you can, your family and friends. We'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.